What's up, guys and girls? Today I'm going to be talking about the lack of an Asian male figure in a lot of American films and the whole problem with that in the American film industry. Long story short, I feel like a lot of these films end up depicting Asians, if they're ever depicted, in a very stereotypical, racist, unrealistic depiction of what Asians are like. They will capitalize on the accents, and they'll capitalize on just very stereotypical things that they think a lot of Asians are like. But I feel like we are definitely taking a step in the right direction. And I would say this is one of the first ones I've seen. Apparently there's this new show coming out on ABC, which is a very prominent network, featuring Karen Gillan and John Cho. And so we have Asian American here, and these two are the forerunners of the show. These two are the main characters in the show. It's basically about this one girl who's very into social media. She's obsessed with it, and she eventually hires someone to help her get through life, because although she has this huge online presence, in reality she has a lot of trouble making friends and stuff. Realistic, I wouldn't say so. I feel like most girls who have that sort of high presence end up being pretty darn popular in real life too. However, regardless, I saw the trailer for this show. It's about to come out, and I mean, the cast, just to begin with, Karen Gillan was a superstar on Doctor Who. I watched almost literally every episode that she was in. Amazing actor, at least portraying that sort of character in Doctor Who. Her character in Doctor Who is definitely different from this. This one, she plays a more prissy role, but ultimately it's very, very interesting. And then we got John Cho. You know, he was in Harold and Kumar, and now he's in Star Trek, or he was in Star Trek. And so ultimately, I feel like this is definitely a step in the right direction. John Cho, at least in this role, you know, in Harold Kumar it was different, but in this role, he is literally like an equal. Like, he is literally an equal to every other person in the script. Whereas, you know, in other films and other TV shows in the past, traditionally Asians, for whatever reason, have oftentimes been depicted as either very quirky, very weird, and just depicted to get a laugh out of people, to make fun of that person. Oftentimes the Asian accent or the foreign accent will be accentuated. And of course, you know, what's in my mind is obviously The Hangover, how the Asian in that was depicted. And so I feel like this is definitely a step in the right direction. Obviously, in the last 10 years, there's been dramatic progress. There have been films with Jet Li and Jackie Chan that literally depict these guys as the main characters of American films. And sometimes when it's a duo situation, I feel like they did this a little bit with certain duo films, like Shanghai Noon. Not Rush Hour, because Rush Hour, Chris Tucker really views Jackie Chan as an equal. But in other films, it's different. But definitely with this decade, I'm definitely seeing some dramatic progress for sure. Apparently there's a prominent Asian male in a very popular TV series, The Walking Dead. And so we're finally starting to see that these people are just like, they are viewing Asians as equals, as very accomplished potential people in American society, which I just thoroughly embrace, because I feel like one of the potential reasons for this general stereotype for Asians not being the most masculine or the best gender today, in fact oftentimes they're depicted as the worst, just generally, is because of how the film industry and entertainment industry has naturally depicted them over the years. And obviously, you know, for me as an individual, I just try and break free of those stereotypes, and I'm not constrained to them, because something broad and overarching like that can't depict a single individual. But for a lot of people, it's hard because they sort of just conform to the role. And I mean, there's a lot of talk. I'm sure even white males will talk about this. I know that Joe Rogan recently did a podcast on the subject. He was literally like, hey, think about it. Like, Asian males have the hardest time with a lot of ethnicities. I think it's very interesting, and I definitely see a lot of progress these days. I recently was watching this scene from a film by Jet Li that was literally made like 5 to 10 years ago, and it depicted Jet Li as, you know, he was the main character. He was regarded as this amazing guy. The whole movie was in English, and he was literally treated as an equal. He wasn't something like that foreign Asian who didn't speak English well, had all these stereotypical problems, only did martial arts. No, it wasn't like that. But I feel like there's still a good way to go, and for whatever reason, there's still that sort of cliche that Asian actor has to do martial arts of some sort. And definitely this new comedy on ABC called Selfie is a step in the right direction. The premise on its own, it looks really good, honestly. The wardrobe, the costumes, the casting, the background, how it's shot, it seems pretty good. But I don't know if Karen Gillan, if this is something that Karen Gillan can actually bring like up to the front. Like, can she really play this role? Because in Doctor Who, she was definitely different, and her real personality is somewhat different from this as well. In addition, like, I can't really get my head around this whole TV concept of this, because it just seems somewhat unrealistic. This whole idea of a girl having such a high social media presence on Twitter and Facebook, having problems socially in real life, usually that doesn't happen. They typically do pretty well in real life. So that whole premise in itself, I don't know if I buy it, but we'll see what happens, and I'm definitely very excited for this advancement. Obviously, you know, it's definitely a struggle, and it's something that's changing over time. And I feel like a lot of people don't understand this. Like, maybe in 100 years, everything will be equal. Every ethnicity, race, there will be no more stereotypes or hindrances in the film industry or any other industry. But nowadays, it's definitely tough. You know it's tough. And another example is Tokyo Drift, Fast and Furious 3. There's a lot of Asian male presence in that movie, and they spoke a lot of English. And I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty great. It was pretty great. These Asians were masculine, they were badass, they were amazing. But later on, I read a article, or I skimmed an article about the one of the main Asian characters in the article. I mean, in the movie. And this was an article written almost 6-7 years after the film was released. And he just talks about how, as an actor, and as an Asian actor, it's very tough. You have to believe in yourself when no one does, and you have to go through thousands of rejections in the film industry. So it's very interesting, and we'll see what happens. But again, I'm just very excited about this. John Cho in this is just incredible, because his English is almost impeccable. In addition to that, he just plays this very confident, very assertive role. I'm hoping that he has some sort of, you know, at least some humor, because from the trailer, it seems like he's sort of playing this very serious, stone-faced Asian character, which, again, somewhat plays into a stereotypical role that I'm hoping won't happen. But we'll see what happens, and thanks for watching.